Most people go through life never learning one simple social skill. Because of that, their conversations feel flat. They leave interactions with a hollow that was fine in their chest. The truth is clear and quiet. The questions you ask decide the emotional shape of every relationship you build. In this video, you'll learn 4 precise question strategies. They reliably create connection. They help you diffuse awkward moments without shutting down the conversation. And at the end, I'll give you one counterintuitive move that makes authority figures respect you before you've proven anything. It's subtle, it works fast. Stay with me. Let's start with a study that flips a lot of assumptions. Researchers at UC Berkeley analyzed thousands of first dates. They expected looks, shared hobbies, or a similar sense of humor to predict a second date. None of those were the strongest predictor. The number one factor was how many follow-up questions one person asked the other. Not their job title, not how witty they sounded. Follow-up questions. Why does that matter? Because follow-ups carry a silent message. They say, "I'm listening." In a culture where most people are already composing their next sentence while you're still talking, being heard is rare. It lands. It feels meaningful. It makes people relax and show more of themselves. But there's a key detail most people miss. Not every follow-up is equal. The follow-up that creates connection has a shape. It's precise. I call it the echo technique. Here's how it works. Someone says, "I'm really excited about next weekend." Most replies either shift to you, "Me too, I'm going hiking," or change the subject entirely. The echo technique does something smaller and sharper. You repeat their phrase back, then ask a single open question. "You're excited about next weekend? What's happening?" That's it. That echo does 2 things. First, it confirms you are paying attention. Second, it gives permission to expand. It tells the speaker, without judgment, that what they just said matters. Use it, and you'll notice a subtle thaw. People will offer details they had been keeping in reserve. Now let's go a layer deeper. Every conversation runs on 2 levels. There's the surface-level facts, stories, the small talk. And then there's the underlying level, what someone really wants to say. When someone mentions, "I travel once a year," they are often throwing out bait. They hope you'll take the hook. They want to tell you where they went. They want you to be curious. Your job is to take the bait. Follow the thread. Not with interrogation, but with gentle curiosity. Focus your follow-ups on 5 areas that reliably open people up. Experiences. Ask about the felt moment. What did that feel like when you first arrived? Dreams. Invite imagination. If you could live anywhere after that trip, where would it be? What they love. Name the affection. What did you fall in love with about that place? Passions. Explore the repetitive pattern. How did you start caring so much about travel? Motivations. Ask about the reason. What does traveling do for you that nothing else does? Each of these questions shifts the spotlight fully onto the other person. And truthfully, most people like the spotlight when it's warm and curious. It validates them. It increases trust. It opens doors to things they only share with people who ask the right kind of question. There's hard evidence that careful questioning creates real closeness. In the 1990s, Arthur Aaron and his team ran an experiment that still surprises people. They divided strangers into 2 groups. One group made small talk. The other group worked through a structured set of questions that gradually increased in intimacy. The results were striking. The second group felt significantly closer. They wanted to meet again. 2 strangers even later married. Notice the important detail. The questions didn't start intimate. They began light. Who would you invite to dinner, living or dead? Then they climbed. What's your most treasured memory? Then deeper. What do you already appreciate in the person across from you? Intimacy was earned. It accumulated. It didn't explode into vulnerability all at once. This teaches a simple rule. Start safe. Build slowly. Self-disclosure compounds only when you allow it to. If you skip steps, you force people into a vulnerability they can't hold. They retreat. If you begin with small, genuine curiosity, they lean in. They reciprocate. Let's turn to another everyday skill. Handling questions you don't want to answer. This is where many people panic. You're in a job interview. You've rehearsed everything. Then the interviewer asks, "What were you earning at your last job?" Your gut tightens. Answer honestly and you may lock yourself into a lower offer. Refuse and you look evasive. Most people overshare or go silent. All three choices damage the rapport you've built. There is a cleaner option. Respond with a relevant question. If they ask about salary, reply, "Could you tell me the salary range for this role?" If they ask about family plans, reply, "How does this team support people who are balancing family responsibilities?" You stay in the same conversational lane. You redirect without retreating. Why this works? When you outright refuse, the missing answer grows. People assume the worst. But if you answer with a question, you shift the focus back to the structure of the situation. You keep the exchange moving. Human attention follows questions. You guide it where you want it to go. A few deliberate questions later, the tone has changed, and you can reframe or close the topic gracefully. There's another common trap that ruins trust without you noticing. Leading yes/no questions that hand people an escape. You ask, "It doesn't have any problems, does it?" You've already implied the desirable answer. The other person just needs to confirm. This is why a buyer will often get a false "no problems" on eBay. The question invites the lie. Flip the assumption. Instead of offering a soft landing, ask toward the truth. What issues does it have? Or, what problems should I expect? You force specificity. You move people from guessing what you want to hear to explaining what actually is. This framing is subtle but powerful. It cultivates honesty. It discourages comfortable evasions. Use it everywhere. At a viewing, don't ask, "Are the neighbors quiet?" Ask, "Have previous tenants reported noise?" Delivering the problem into the light invites concrete answers. It respects the truth and the person who holds it. Now for the final technique. This is the counterintuitive one I promised. Harvard researchers ran an experiment where participants completed tasks while receiving different messages from observers. One group got encouraging praise. "You're doing great." Another group got a very different message. "Hey, do you have any advice on this?" Which message made the observers look more competent and likable? The advice question won by a clear margin. Why? Asking for advice signals two things at once. First, it implies respect. You are saying, without flattery, "I value your judgment." Second, it activates a psychological reward. People like to help. When someone asks for advice, they become invested. They lean in. Their status is acknowledged in a way that praise cannot replicate, because praise is overt and often smelled as flattery. A few rules make this work best. Ask about something they actually know. Don't ask a respected investment banker how to format a spreadsheet. That wastes their time and signals low awareness. Also, don't ask for things a quick search could answer. The request needs to honor their expertise. This technique is particularly useful in new jobs, meetings, or when you need to build rapport with someone senior. Instead of trying to impress, ask one focused question. Watch how quickly doors open. Here are short, practical scripts to use tonight. Echo technique. You're excited about next weekend? What's happening? Short, curious, warm. Take the bait. You travel once a year. Where do you try to go and what sticks with you from those trips? 2. Linked follow-ups. Gentle pressure. Slow intimacy. Start with a light question, then ask something slightly more personal, then something reflective. Pace the reveal. Deflecting a trap. What salary band does this role target? Or how does this company handle parental leave? Redirect and stay calm. Flip the assumption. Instead of "no problems," right, say, "What known issues should I be aware of?" Ask for advice. "You've managed projects like this. What would you do differently in my shoes?" If you practice these moves, you will notice 3 things change. Conversations become less stressful. People share more. And you'll be remembered for how you made them feel, not just what you said. A final note. Asking good questions isn't manipulation when it's honest. It's attention. It's the offer of a safe place for someone to be seen. Use it with care. Use it with curiosity. Use it with genuine regard for the person across from you. Ask better questions. Hear better answers. Build deeper connections. When you leave a conversation, let it feel like something happened. Not because you performed, but because you listened well enough to make someone feel known.